So namaste everybody. Welcome to this session of webinar in the Upanishads project. As all of us know, the theme we have chosen for this session is insights into management values in Ishavasya Upanishad. Actually, in a whole lot of Upanishads, we can draw valuable insights into management. Recently we coined in fact an expression, dhimahi. Many of you know this word dhimahi. It is part of Gayatri mantra, Om Bhur Bhuvaswaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. The literal meaning of dhimahi is we meditate, dhyayema. But this dhimahi, if you put it in English, that is you spell it in English alphabets, D-H-I-M-A-H-I, could be expanded in a new way, deriving holistic insights into management from heritage of India. D-H-I-M-A-H-I, think of it. Deriving holistic insights into management from heritage of India. And this heritage of India is vast, unbelievably vast. However, we in these webinars are trying to focus on the Upanishads, which are considered very lofty portions of our sacred literature. Ishavasya Upanishad, with just 18 mantras, has plenty of food for thought. I must hasten to correct myself. Upanishads in fact are not just food for thought, but they are in fact meant to go beyond thought. They are meant to break the barriers or confines of thought. Thought being a phenomenon, thought being a process, thought being a certain field, and we can go beyond the field of thought. So, in Ishavasya Upanishad, just 18 mantras, agreed, and most of you know, we have the famous Shanti mantra, peace invocation in Ishavasya Upanishad. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. The whole is the reality. The whole alone is this. The whole alone is that. And when you take the whole from the whole again remains. Another translation is when we add the whole to the whole, what remains again is the whole. Let's start with this. Management gurus talk about a certain desirable value or attitude in leaders and managers and so on, executives and so on. Stephen Covey, for example, calls this attitude the abundance mentality. Many a time, whether it's corporate management or some domestic scenario in a family, one member is causing problem to everybody, acting out of unnecessary insecurity. The thinking in such a member could be, well, if the other guy gets it, I won't get anything. And if I get it, nobody else gets it. This mentality imagines that there is very little and one wins always at the cost of another. One gains putting another to loss. Abundance mentality says there is enough, there is plenty. You don't have to put somebody to trouble to fulfill your needs. You can fulfill needs of all by a little bit of creativity, a little bit of broad thinking, little bit of deeper insights. If you take a look at this Purnamadaha Purnamidam mantra, you find the fragrance of abundance mentality in this mantra. There is the whole, there is the totality, or replace the word Purna with the word plenty. There is plenty. Plenty over there, plenty over here. Do not think the West has plenty and the East is empty. No. Don't think the East is plenty and the West is empty. No. We have perhaps made a lot of ups and downs, imbalances. But in God's creation, even in the deserts of the Gulf or the Gulf countries, God gave or nature gave petrol and other petroleum products. There is plenty in Saudi Arabia or Kuwait, Bahrain or Muscat, whatever. So there is plenty everywhere. Purna Madaha Purna Midam. There is plenty there, there is plenty here. There is plenty in the cities. There is plenty in the villages too. Never have a narrow thinking that to be in a village is to remain cursed forever, nor make the mistake that to live in a city is being sentenced to a terrible, sorrowful way of living. Anywhere and everywhere, if you tap the inner potential, you can make a difference to life around you. Now let's enter the mantras. Other day casually I was taking a look at the Ishavasya mantras. That's what prompted me to give this topic. I thought let me pick up a couple of ideas from maybe one or two mantras. Believe me, in every mantra I found management values. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किंच जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथाः मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनम्. For the present, leave aside the metaphysical interpretations, which are of course the ultimate teaching of the Upanishads, the supremacy of pure consciousness above body and mind, this entire universe being an expression of that one truth called Brahma. The Upanishads are therefore called Brahma Vidya. But now for this session of this webinar, what does the first mantra Ishavasya Sarvam have to give us in the context of values for management? Just take the last part, sirs, madams. You have Ma Gridaha Kasya Svidhanam. Do not be greedy. After all, whose is wealth? To whom does wealth belong? This question that the Upanishad asks upon some contemplation can give to every executive or manager or businessman, owner of a company, anybody in any responsible position, a wonderful insight. Whose is this company? Whose is this wealth? Whose are all this equipment? Asks the Upanishad. And the wonderful insight is, as Mahatma Gandhi advised some businessmen on occasions, do not think of yourselves as the owners. Legally you are the owner, but in your heart, believe or think you are the trustees. This wealth, this property, this equipment, this skill, this talent, this gift, whatever it may be, belongs to all. I happen to be entrusted with it at this moment. This shift in attitude can make a big difference. You will find that if you look at yourselves as trustee and not the owner of any possession with you, you will have a great amount of unburdening, great amount of relaxation. But to shift in this way, the way we see things, is sometimes a bit difficult. Right away the second mantra says, whether you look at yourself as trustee or not, even if you are unable to get out of your idea of ownership, this is mine, I worked hard, I built it, every bit of it is mine. Suppose you have that, the Upanishad seems to say in the second mantra, never mind, go about your day's duties while keeping this belief that everything is yours, fine, no problem, but do your duties in order to serve people. कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेच्छतं समाह एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे. Karma na lipyate. We say work stresses us. We say work drives us nuts. We say work is causing so much a strain. Time is not enough. 24 hours are not enough. And our resources are not enough. Or we don't have the right team. That's the problem. We blame Tom, Dick and Harry. The Upanishad says, look, if you go about the matter, every work of yours, with an attitude of service, that seva buddhi is implied here in this mantra, then karma na lipyate. Your work will not stress you. Let me share with you a quick and short story. A teacher asked 10 of his students to go and take a photograph of people who are smiling. The teacher sent those 10 girls and boys to a large hall where some kind of conference was going on, some serious scientist conference or philosophers conference. The 10 girls and boys rushed towards the hall with their smartphones, mobiles, but then what they saw was the people participating in that conference were all so grim. Nobody was smiling. So believe me, 9 out of the 10 students came back and reported to the teacher. There is no one smiling there. I could not take a single picture of any smiling face. The 10th girl, the girl came with 4 to 5 pictures, all smiling, cheerful. The teacher asked the girl in front of the other 7 girls and boys, how could you get smiling faces to shoot while your classmates, the 9 of them, failed? The girl said, indeed, they are right. Nobody was smiling when we went. I too was about to give up. Then I planned something. I came upon a plan. I went with my mobile, went to a few people, and I smiled. I gave a broad, bright smile and said to each person there, hello, auntie, how are you? How are you doing today? Hello, uncle, you seem to be the most sought after speaker here in this conference. And the uncle and the aunt started smiling and said, ah, beta, oh my child, my daughter, yes, you are right. Young lady, you are right. We are enjoying this conference. And they started smiling. So when we smile, the world smiles back. Na karma lipyate nare. But some of us read all this, talk all this, and yet we remain so much in egocentric behavior. The third mantra of the Ishavasya says, those of us who continue to remain in I, me and mine, egoistic sphere of thinking and acting, they in fact are committing suicide. The expression Atma-jnana comes in the third mantra. Atmahan means one who kills oneself. Atma-jnana. Asuryanam te loka andhena tamasavrataha. Taganste pretyabhigachanti yekecha Atma-jnana. So third mantra tells all managers, executives, leaders, parents, anyone in responsible position, give up this egoistic behavior. Open up to sharing, to giving and taking. Don't just be the giver and refuse to take. Don't be just the taker and refuse to give. Be a giver and taker. So each mantra seems to give us some insight. Go to the fourth mantra. It was some time back when I was interacting with some youngsters that this meaning suddenly struck me. The fourth mantra is apparently very mystical. Anejadekam manaso javiyo naina deva apnuvan purvamarshad tadhavatonnyan atyeti tishtat tasmin napo matarishva dadati. You don't need the whole mantra. Take the third pada, quarter. Tad dhavataha anyan atyeti. This truth, if you translate literally, atyeti, overtakes. Atyeti means atikramyati, goes ahead. Whom does it overtake? Dhavataha anyan. There are many others apparently who are all running fast. But this truth overtakes all those who are running very fast. Tadhavatonnyan atyeti. There is one more word in the quarter. That is the beauty. Tishtat. Tishtat is a present participle which means without going anywhere. Tishtat means staying where you are. All of you know the story of Ganesha and Kartikeya. When the competition was set to go around the universe, Kartikeya shot off on his peacock. But Ganesha stayed where he was in Kailas, at the mountain. And after a little while, after eating maybe his breakfast fully, without leaving anything at all, slowly he gets up and just goes around Shiva and Parvati and says, I have gone around the universe because the universe is within you. That is the meaning, Tishtat. Staying where you are, Dhavataha Anyan Atyeti. I found this to be an inspiring insight into time management. Some of us have become Dhavataha, Dhavantaha. We run and run and run and again find we are behind because the mistake we do is we are running and running but doing things which are not important, which are low priority, which are of some sort of urgency but have no importance really speaking. Then no matter how much we are running, we stay behind. If we adhere to truly important, may not be urgent, but truly important stuff, do it first, then we will be way ahead. Tishtata, staying at one place, meaning without sweating and without fretting or fuming. Who was that? Richard Carlson wrote that beautiful book, right? Very popular book. Don't sweat the small stuff. Then there was second line of the title of that popular book. First line was, don't sweat the small stuff. The second line goes, and it's all small stuff. You and I generally sweat. We get so, tired because we have been out of our ill-conceived attachments, out of our, misjudgments. Sometimes we are spending the whole day trying to help somebody and believing that, it's very important. I'm trying to help my son. Let the son talk to us or somebody talk to this son privately. Do you want your father's help? The son is likely to say, actually, I can do everything on my own. I don't know why my father is behind me. My father is not giving me the space. Sometimes, I'm not saying all the time it is like that. A number of things that you and I do are not really necessary for us to do. Whereas if we can identify what it is that is necessary, that is valuable, then attending to it, we can get way ahead. The same idea is expressed in another style by the fifth mantra, Tadejati, Tannaijati, Taddure, Tadvantike, Tadantarasya Sarvasya, Tadu Sarvasyasya Bahyataha. Again, first it looks very, very metaphysical. My North Indian friends say, Namaste, Namaste, hum nahi samajhte. We don't understand this. Because the mantra proper, tadejati, tannaijati means it moves, it doesn't move. Taddure, tadu antike means it is far, and to tell you the truth, it is very near. Tadantarasya sarvasya, it's inside all, and then tadu sarvasya bahyataha, it is outside everything. I have a friend, Swami Anubhavanandji. He comments on this mantra saying, the students got up and asked the Guru, who was explaining this mantra, Guruji, take 5 minutes and decide whether it moves or does not move, whether it is far or near, whether it is inside or outside. Don't make these contradictory statements. It's far and yet it's near, it's outside and yet it's inside. What's all this? Now, it looks mystical, but apply it to management. When you apply it to management, the whole understanding blossoms. You get a new flowering of understanding. It is all about opening up to both outer and inner dimensions of management. Both the insiders and outsiders we need to understand. Or within ourselves, a manager has to understand what's happening within himself and has to understand what is going on in his relationships, how others are looking at him. So this is what is called holistic insight. If you see only inside and not outside, it's partial. If you see only outside and not inside, that's also partial. You keep an eye on outside and inside, on things that are far and things that are near, things that are long-term goals and things that are short-term goals, and so on. Then you are a holistic manager. We are talking about deriving holistic insights into management, drawing from heritage of India. Dhimahi. Then go further. A couple of mantras. I'll take 2 or 3 mantras more in this session. The very next, you have 6 and 7. The mantra 6 and 7 talk about seeing oneself in all and all in oneself. Yes, tu sarvani bhutani atmanyevānupashyati sarvabhuteshu cha atmanam tato na vijugupsate yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut vijanatah tatra ko moha kasyokah ekatvamanupashyatah. Those of us who are all the time talking on Upanishads need to know full mantras. We need to know a lot of things. But any of you who may be in the world outside, in the world of earning and spending, saving and planning, managing relationships, assets, etc., etc., you don't have to know all the mantras. If you know all the mantras, we may go out of business. So it's better if you know only part of the mantras. It's our specialization. I say joking. If any of you learns, I have no problem. But in this mantra, please take just the last part. Ekatvam anupashyataha. If a business executive who is into management sees the oneness, ekatva, oneness is also expressed sometimes as interrelatedness. The whole globe is one. The whole world is one. There came a book, right, some time back. The earth is flat. Thomas Friedman wrote that very popular book. The earth is flat. No more it is, some countries have an advantage and some others are totally at disadvantage. With the internet revolution, one could be working from anywhere, and now America is all the time a bit nervous about India or China rising, because with internet people are able to work from anywhere, and philosophically this points to a certain interrelatedness, that is ekatva. Interrelatedness not only in business or finance but culturally, and psychologically and religiously or religion-wise, I should say, there is all interrelationship. Nobody can anymore confine oneself to one's own little group. There was a president of a religious center in some place in America. He was as president of the Hindu religious center, he was spending 30, 40 years. He worked so much for Hinduism, proud of Hinduism. He raised his children from early childhood, teaching them all mantra, shloka, puja. Finally, all his three children married Jewish, Christian, and some other, Nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying that father lost or anything. I'm saying the father would be devastated if he doesn't go by this understanding, ekatvam anupashyata. If the father who gave the best Hindu education to his children, he himself, his wife, herself being Hindu, reflects on ekatvam anupashyata, then he or she, the mother, will not have any heartburn. That's what Upanishad says. Tatra ko moha. You are a very good Hindu, wonderful, but don't have a moha that Hinduism alone has the truth. Tatra kas shokaha. Where is any grief? If your daughter-in-law is Jewish, why worry at all? In one day, in fact, she may take more interest in Vedanta or Hinduism than all your three children put together. Tatra ko moha kashokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. So in business too, if we learn to look at somebody's victory with certain appreciation, we have lost. But don't look at they have won and we have lost, or another time we have won and they have lost, with some thick dividing lines. The dividing lines are not as thick as you imagine. There you go. Once you see their victory, indirectly or to an extent, is our victory. And our victory on another occasion, indirectly to an extent, is their victory. To say this victory is 100% theirs and we have 100% lost is narrow vision. So once we have broad perspectives, we are again at peace. Last but not the least, in fact, I must come to this mantra, for this mantra number 8 is regarded as the most revealing mantra in a philosophical context. This mantra actually talks about the supreme truth. What is that? Let's start. After this ekatvam anupashyataha, just give me a moment. Kavir Manishi Paribhu Swayambhu. That is how it starts. Open the 8th mantra. First word. First word. Start.
कवि
No, उसके पहले कुछ होगा. सपर्यगा चुक्रमकायम अव्रणम अस्नाविरगम शुद्धमपापविद्धम. See, whether it is Bollywood songs or Upanishad mantra, you get the first word, then it goes. If you don't get the first word, then you scratch your head. So, saparyaga chukramakayam avranam asnaviragam shuddham apapavittam kavir manishi paribhu swayambhuh yata tatyatorthan vyadadat shashvatibhyah samabhyah. Leave aside the lofty interpretations of Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya and all that. For you and me, with certain responsibilities in our workplace or at home or in some social organization, what this whole mantra means is the supreme truth, which is all pervasive. Pari agat, it goes all over. It's all pervasive. Shukram, it is pure, white, radiant, bright. And Kavi, it's supremely intelligent. Manishi, it's all knowing. So One of the interpretations of this mantra is as simple as this. Every one of us, though at a given point of time appear to be dull and laid back or running short of some resources, deep inside us are supremely intelligent. I'll conclude saying Upanishads say to every one of us, deep inside you, you have, and what is more, you are tremendous intelligence. You can discover it. And once you discover that supreme intelligence, no matter you have wealth or otherwise, physical health or otherwise, no matter you are old or young, irrespective of all these things, that liberating intelligence in you helps you make the best of any situation. That is all what management is about. In a given situation, what is the best? Find out and do. Do the best, leave the rest, said Swami Chinmayananda. Let me pause here and welcome questions and comments. Hari Om. Namaste. Let's see any hand going up. Then I will enable the microphone of that person. If anybody's mic is not working, you can type your message. I have opened the chat window also. Questions. Yeah. Questions also I have opened. You key in a question, it will appear there with your name. Srinath Aure, are you able to hear?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good. Thank you, Swamiji.
That means system is working. All right.
Yeah.
Looks like I have sent everybody to a meditative state.
This discourse is very nice, Swamiji.
Thank you.
It's
And
very...
how about a question from Manmohan Pejawar? He is normally the opening batsman.
Yes, sometimes I feel, thank you, Swamiji. Sometimes I feel I ask too many questions. I have been criticized for it by my wife.
So ask, today you can ask the question, why do I ask so many questions?
Anyway, when I was listening to today's lecture, having been retired, I was constantly thinking how I can apply in everyday life, not in a work situation, but in a way we are in a certain environment where we have to perform. So I was kind of drawing a parallel to that. And some of these concepts like having real insight into yourself, I thought was really useful. You know, whatever you do, you don't do for somebody else's sake or how others are looking at us. That may be only partially important, but also what it means to you internally and, take that clue from within. I think that, so I was, in every mantra, I was trying to draw that kind of parallel for everyday living. And even everyday living, you still have to have some business matters to take care of. So I thought that was useful. Just an input. Thank you, Swamiji.
Wonderful.
I really enjoyed the lecture today.
You have expressed your feedback very clearly. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Yes, right here in Pune, where I am speaking, we have Commander Bijur. He has a question. Yeah, I'll repeat your question for their benefit.
Swamiji, what you suggested here is really what the business today looks for. We call it win-win situation.
Yes, win-win situation.
Yes. But what happens is it is there in everyone's mind, all managers' mind, but then they are unable to see the whole picture.
Yeah.
Most of the time, win-win situation remains in their mind, but the whole picture never emerges in front of them.
Correct.
So, what could be the kind of remedy for that?
That's
Where
a
person
very
starts
practical,
looking at
very
the whole
practical
picture.
question. I think I am able to relate to what you are saying. All of us, Shri Bijur has said that a lot of managers know this kind of outlook, which I brought out in my talk. And today's management literature calls it win-win approach. He says that though we know win-win approach, we are generally not able to see the whole picture, and therefore how to go about the win-win is not clear. I would say this way, that true, we are not able to really see the whole picture and come upon a truly wonderful win-win solution. But my submission is, whenever I have attempted it, I have seen that if we try to find a win-win approach, win-win solution, we are generally successful in finding certain, at least short term, and some gestures at least. For example, we have a bitter competition with some other company, let us say, and we don't know, because we find other side doesn't understand us at all. Uh, the least we can do is, rather than tit for tat, hitting back or mudslinging at each other and all those things, we can sincerely and honestly appreciate certain plus points in them and request, not demand, their side to acknowledge some of our contributions. So what we meant is, we can go about a certain reconciliation effort with goodwill. Once I came across a couple, husband and wife, who are having a lot of arguments, and both of them said, we totally disagree on certain issues. And win-win is very difficult, because I don't agree with her and she said she doesn't agree with him. Then we sat together, and then we found that one thing that they could do is, at least, okay, let them keep their opinions, let them not go together in solving something, but at least in conversations, let them not raise their voice so much in their talking to friend circle, social circle, etc. Let them not blame the other person. Let them accept the situation. There are some serious differences, but we will keep a distance with each other, whatever. So my submission is, win-win, taking us way ahead may be difficult, but certain short time victories are possible. So like Eknath Ishwaran would say, small victories lead to big victories. Perhaps tentatively we will have to go for it. Otherwise, I fully agree. At a given point of time, our intelligence is a bit limited. We don't deny, or we don't dare contradict or oppose the Upanishadic Rishi's wisdom. Perhaps we are supreme intelligence, but right now we feel that we are very limited. So with that, some small victories are possible, I think. I don't see any other hand again, but among the audience here, any other question? Vibha Chaitanya is here. Any comment also? Or any request? Do you want me to cover the other 10 mantras in another session, or change over to some other Upanishad? Yes. So Vibha Chaitanya feels that in another session we could try to cover some more mantras of Ishavasya itself. We'll try. Meanwhile, Chris Chilukuri has a question. I click on the hand raised and enable his microphone. Yes, Krish.
Hari Om Swamiji, I missed your lectures for several months. I've been away. I apologize for that. In a different time zone.
Yes.
When you were talking about the bigger picture, so to speak, is to see the whole picture as opposed to being caught in the situation. When you were talking about the mantra in terms of uh, uh, seeing everyone in ourselves and ourselves and everyone else. It, from the perspective of management, it struck to me that there's a direct relationship to what we value very much in the company, managerial courage.
Oh,
In a situation where it appears competitive, the key is to take yourself out of the competition and have the courage to look outside the current situation.
Mhm.
And that is something that's very highly valued, and we actually rate our employees on trying to rate as part of the annual performance review,
I see.
trying to encourage managerial courage in situations. Just a
Right.
comment.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, yeah. Seeing beyond. Yes. Managerial courage, you said. Yeah. Thank you,
Which is
Krishna.
equivalent. Thank you.
It's equivalent to the larger
Uh,
picture.
uh,
Seeing
yes,
others, seeing others in
the
one.
larger picture.
Right, right.
Yes.
That's true. Sometimes, in fact, what you say makes me think that the management literature and spiritual literature sometimes differ in just language. And
Hmm.
for the eyes that can see, there is so much common ground. And the language, see, because the literal translation is to see all in the Atma and to see the Atma in all. So go one step further to see ourselves in others and others in ourselves. That comes closer to the management lingo.
So in a sense, the reverse is also very visible in a large organization. Fear.
Fear.
So this is company. This is not seeing the vision of the Atman. This is just how organization
True,
functions.
true.
So most acrimonious situations arise because of fear
Yes.
and not seeing the interrelatedness of the various functions that enable the company to prosper.
Yes.
It's turf battle as opposed to seeing the interrelatedness and agreeing that the whole is what is prosperity. It's a vision of
Right.
fear versus courage.
Well said. I think we need to see both. When we see the oneness, how there is such a healthy mental environment, and when there is lack of perception of oneness or interrelatedness, how fear overwhelms. That's true. Beautiful. So any last question here, something?
Yes, Swamiji, I say that means what I feel is that when you said that seeing others in ourselves, so do you mean that sensitivity and selflessness should be unfolded in ourselves?
Correct. So Vibhaji has a question. Does seeing others in oneself and seeing oneself in others mean or imply a greater sensitivity, and what's the second word you use?
Selfless.
Greater selflessness. Absolutely. It is greater sensitivity, greater selflessness, and compassion. Like I am fighting with somebody, I am disagreeing with somebody, and from a selfish, insensitive, narrow perspective, I become rather destructive. I may get into anger, or I may think, I'll just keep away from this man. I'll go away from this man. Either isolation or sometimes destructive, harmful tendencies may arise. Whereas once there is this sensitivity, once there is the selflessness, though he is hurting me, I say, all right, let me bear this hurt, but let me see whether I can do something for him. Let me see whether there is some good in him, something where I need to be grateful to him. See, this is how sensitivity unfolds. So sensitivity and selflessness make it possible. And the wonder of wonders is pretty soon with this little homework we do, we find some areas where it is possible to join hands, where it is possible to, you know, get friendly with each other. So fully true. So human values like sensitivity and selflessness, which you mentioned, are integral to this philosophical vision of seeing oneself in others and others in oneself. That can happen when values are present, or values arise when that happens. They mutually support each other. So all right, we'll meet again. And now there is one last question again by Krish again. I enable his mic once more. Yeah, go ahead.
Swamiji, one of the reasons, in one of the shlokas that you talked about the beginning part, Anedekam Manaso Gaviyo Naina Deva Apnavan Purmashat. But the last one is always, last quarter is always a little unclear, or just to understand. Tasmin Apo Matarishwa Dadhati.
Correct.
Is that something you could talk a little bit more about?
Certainly. Tasmin Apo Matarishwa Dadati. Here the Vedic language uses the word Matarishwa, who elsewhere may mean Vayu, the wind god, but by force of context, here Matarishwa means the supreme God, the supreme divine principle. And Apodadati literally means Apaha is water, and water then means karma phala. So let's first take the traditional meaning. God actually grants results of actions to everybody. Tasmin apo matarishva dadati. Now applying to the management scenario, where I said tad dhavatonyan atyeti tishtat, you can take this meaning, you can adapt it to the management context. So once we are able to be more aware, because this whole holistic perspective is to have this, let's say, manager, a more aware manager. Otherwise, a manager is blind to certain dimensions, certain areas. This awakened manager is with eyes open to a whole lot of dimensions. Then staying in that awakened consciousness, staying in that kind of mental atmosphere where he is very, very aware, the stakeholders, as you use the expression, there are many stakeholders in every enterprise. He is aware of what different stakeholders expect and what they should get, they ought to get. And then therefore he apodadati, he then works towards ensuring that all the stakeholders do get what is due to them. It is the righteous dispensation. It is the just and fair distribution of rewards which is meant in this expression. Tasmin apaha matarishva dadati. Literal meaning is Ishvaraha karma phalani nyayataha yachati, gives. And come to the manager. This manager would not be partial, would not be biased, would not suffer from some bigotry, some kind of blindness and so on. That would be, I think, one application. Someone in between raised the hand but withdrew. Who was that? It's okay. It's okay. All right. All the best.